The princess continued to walk, which was rather difficult to do as a unicorn. After a while, the forest began to get less thick. Soon enough, she found herself in a meadow with a little house. She was desperate for a place to sleep and good food, so she knocked on the door. A little old woman answered and bade her to come inside. The little old woman introduced herself as Frau Flusferd. It was the most interesting house she had ever been in. There were bottles filled with all sorts of colored liquids. The princess had many questions and began to ask one of them, but Frau Flusferd refused to talk to her until she had eaten a sandwich and had a cup of peppermint tea. As the princess ate her sandwich and drank her tea as politely as a unicorn can, Frau Flusferd began to tell the princess they were both stuck in an in-between world. Frau Flusferd once worked in the castle and found herself curious about the door with the eye, which was how she came to live in the meadow in the middle of the forest. When she drank from the lake, she did not become a beautiful unicorn like the princess, but rather a hippo. She said that it took many years for the spell to lift. She knew of a quicker way to stop the spell and get out of this in-between world, but that it would be very difficult and require a long journey for the princess. She said the princess must collect 3 very rare ingredients from the forest, which Frau Flusferd would make a potion out of. First, she must climb a mountain to find the very rare purple edelweiss, then go into a cave to find black moss. Lastly, go back into the desert and collect 3 pink flowers from the largest cactus. Frau Flusferd then explained that in between the mountain and the cave is a great big ocean. At the seashore, she must whistle a tune only unicorns and one other creature can make, and the creature would rise from the depths and give her a pearl. The pearl would then be placed inside the key and make the door she came through reappear. The next day, after a good night's sleep, the princess set out on her journey to find the ingredients. The climb up the mountain was very difficult as a unicorn. As soon as she reached the top of the mountain, she searched for the purple edelweiss. At the very tip of the mountaintop, she saw a clump of fuzzy purple flowers. Frau Flusferd said that she only needed a few, but the princess made sure to take a few extra just in case, and then began her journey down the other side of the mountain. As she crossed the valley to the cave, she came across an ocean. When she tried to whistle, a beautiful sound came out. She began to see bubbles on the surface of the water, and then a long horn, just like the one she had on her head, broke the surface of the water, and a whale appeared before her. He opened his mouth, stuck his tongue out, and there was the pearl. She had gently picked up the pearl, and he began to speak to her in the same musical melody as her whistle. He explained that he too was stuck in the in-between world as a narwhal. He was a prince named Rolf from a faraway land. He asked her to take him with her so he could once again be a prince. She agreed to come back to him with enough potion to turn him into a human again and return to their world through the magical door. She quickly went in search for the cave, which was deep in the forest. She entered the cave and used her horn to collect enough moss for her and the narwhal, and decided to rest in the cave before traveling to the desert.